peoples, what's going on? What the deal? What the deal? What the deal? Okay, we need that merch. Actually, live. I'm going to. I'm gonna need you guys' opinion. So I need everybody in the chat to go. Well, after the fact, after you don't have to do it now. But what I want is I want you guys to tell me. So I'm going to make a flash course, right? Obviously, if you guys know, I've been talking about making a course. So I'm going to make a big course, a big relationship course. And obviously, I'll make other type of courses too. But I'm going to make a course, but I'm also going to make a flash course, like a flash course that's super cheap, like a flash course that's like maybe anywhere from 30 to $50. Super cheap, right? Cheap. Um, and it's going to be on one in particular topic. And I'm going to give you guys a few options from what I think is the most. Like one option could be how to get out of the friend zone, two, how to get your ex back. What else? Like, I'll give a list of options that that will be on a short flash course that'll be cheap and affordable that everyone can get. But I need to hear what you guys want the most. So what I'm gonna do is tell you guys to go on. I'm gonna tell you guys to go on Instagram and vote on the flash course. Now it's not up yet. I'm gonna take a poll, and from the poll, we'll just go from there. All right. By the way, guys, so I'm on here. I'm on here, and on Zoom. So, guys, everybody on Zoom, if you got questions, you can start firing now. And everybody that is on TikTok, leave your questions in the question box, and I will try to give you guys the last 10 minutes of questions when my guys that are on Patreon done. So, if you guys on Patreon, you got questions, let's start shooting them out.
I got a question, KB.
What the deal?
So I'm talking to this girl, and she called me baby and babe and all that, flirting here and there. And last night, I texted her, "What's she doing?" She didn't reply for like 3 hours. So check her Snapchat, and she's out with like a guy, and he kissed her on the cheek. She was out and about, so I didn't text her back all night long and all day. And then she texted me today, "What's wrong?" What would you recommend me telling her, or should I not reply?
Well, is this girl your girlfriend?
No, we're just talking, bro.
Well, I mean, you can't get upset at her. What you guys got to understand is if you were to tell her, "Oh, I saw you kissing a guy, so I didn't want to talk to you." Listen, you're coming off a bit needy. You're coming off a bit clingy, right? And you can't get upset at that. You can't get upset at because honestly, you have no fucking right to be upset. She's not your bitch, right? She's not your girl. So, one, you shouldn't address it. And if you do, you do it in a slick way. Like, oh, nothing's wrong, because you don't want to be upset. You pulling back is good, because you don't want to be all up on her and giving her the type of energy that is reminiscent of a boyfriend, and she is, probably on a date. But things are also perception. You can say, because this is one thing that I've learned with clients too, like taking coaching clients and having guys over calls. This is why I ask questions, because one guy can say, "Oh, she was doing this and doing that," and then when I get the full scope of the story, it's never actually what it is. Now, you said that she was with a guy and she didn't reply to you for 3 hours. One, you shouldn't be texting a girl every fucking hour anyway. A girl not replying to you for 3 hours is perfectly fine. She was probably busy, and you saw she actually was. Now, what she was doing, you probably didn't like, right? But once again, you have no obligations, because this is not your girl, and you don't want to come off needy. So confronting her about it in a way where you come off needy, don't do that. And then and another problem with confronting her in that way is now you're setting these standards for a relationship that's not even absolute yet. It's not your girlfriend. So if you were to do it to her, then this kind of leaves the door open for her to do it to you. And you're not even sure if you want to make this girl your girlfriend yet. How long you been talking to her?
About a month now.
Dude, you've been talking to this girl for a few weeks and you're talking about, oh, she was out with some guy. Have you guys hung out? Have you kissed? Have you done anything?
We hung out, but she said she wants something serious. I told her that we need to go out on more dates.
Yeah, but that don't mean you just because she wants something serious, that don't mean you shouldn't game her. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try to kiss her. That doesn't mean you shouldn't escalate things sexually. That doesn't mean you shouldn't build sexual tension. Right? Girls say a lot of things. Yeah, but what I find is I'm not going to say girls' opinions don't matter and they don't know what they want, but a lot of the times women say things that they don't mean, and a lot of times women don't really know what they want. But you have to be the leader. Just because she says she wants a relationship doesn't mean you give it to her. And if you follow my rules, and if you're on Patreon watching the videos, you know that wifing a girl right away is a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
At least 5 to 6 months, and this is something that's going to be on the relationship course and where everything is going to be organized. So these type of questions you shouldn't really have. But since you're in the beginning stage now, you said she was kissing some guy. What was this all about? How did it look?
Oh, some guy kissed her. They were out dancing, I think at a club, and he kissed her on the cheek. She posts various guys on her Snapchat from here and there, and I don't think it was anything serious, but yeah, I mean, she texted me in the morning, so.
Well, you pulling back, it was a slight pullback. I feel like what you did was the right thing. But see, when you're talking to a girl and she shows you signs like this, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a red flag, but it's definitely something to take attention to. So I would say while you're talking to her, you should also talk to other women. And if she ever asks you this, be like, yeah, if she ever asks you, are you talking to other girls? Like, yeah, I'm pretty. Have you guys ever had that conversation, by the way?
No, we have not.
Okay, well, when she does, you let her know. Be like, well, yeah, I'm talking to other girls, and because we never discussed exclusivity yet, but until then, it's okay, and you should as a security, because it's not, like I said, it's not necessarily a red flag, but it's not a green flag. Somebody in the comments said that's an orange flag, and I agree, and it's not necessarily a red flag, but it's definitely something to pay attention to. So what you should do is have some security, because we don't know yet, it's only been a month, if this is a girl that you can wife. And you said she's always posting various guys on her story, so it's definitely something to take into account. And until her personality starts to unfold, because remember, everybody's on their best behavior for the first few weeks. But what I say is you should definitely start to escalate things. If you definitely game her right, you could definitely get her, because she's definitely showing interest, but you need some anxiety. So, and by the way, if that conversation of are you talking to other people ever comes up, you're like, yeah, well, I'm willing and open to be more exclusive, but I don't know if your relationship material yet. We're still getting to know each other. And now if you ever want to address the thing, you shouldn't address it directly and seem upset. But what you should do is um be like, oh, like, what you up to? What you up to? Or be like, say some sarcastic shit. Be like, oh, you out with one of your boyfriends? All right, just say it jokingly. But when you say it jokingly, it's not going to be taken as serious, but it can open you up for a conversation where you can ask questions, and it may seem in an indirect manner. Or you can be like, oh, well, she'd be like, what are you talking about? Oh, no, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I be seeing guys on your story, but I'm pretty sure it's nothing serious. But I'm just joking. That's how I joke, right? But
Yeah.
really, what you're doing is fishing. But you're doing it in such a way it doesn't seem as if you're coming off insecure. It doesn't seem as if you're coming off being jealous or needy. But one thing you don't want to do is be needy, right?
Yeah.
Any more
One more
questions?
question. Yeah, one more question.
All right, let's Sergio finish. Let Sergio finish, and then I'll get to the rest of you guys.
So I'm going to hand therapy. So I got into a car accident and I met a girl there. We were working one-on-one and she asked me a bunch of questions about me, and I think she showed interest. Should I ask for a number or should I ask for Instagram and start gaming her? Or
How do
would
you
it be
think
too
she showed
soon?
interest?
Well, I stopped going to therapy for 2 weeks, and then she asked, "Oh, where you been?" Noticed you haven't been coming in, and then she asked me a bunch of personal questions, like how old I was, what do I do for a living, blah blah blah. You know, and I answered the questions, and she kept the conversation going.
Okay.
So,
well, yeah. Well, gamer. Just be like, well, try to find a commonality. Gamer, tease, flirt. Laugh, the little hit on the shoulder, the little hit on the leg. Escalate things slow and subtly. Now, if you consistently go to your therapy and don't miss it for 2 weeks, you can probably build a little bit of rapport with this girl. And then I guess one way to get it to make it seem not so invasive, what you can do is try to find a commonality. Find something she likes. Be like, oh, I like bowling. Oh, you like bowling? I do too. Or do you like anime? Some girls like anime too. Be like, oh, okay, well, I can suggest some really good animes for you if you ever have time. She'd be like, oh yeah, sure. Here, take my Instagram. So now it looks indirect. You're not going so, direct. Oh, hey, can I get your number? Because if you fail and you don't get her number, what happens after that? It's going to be extremely awkward. So yeah. So go indirect and don't make it seem so obvious. But what you want to do is, in the meantime, gamer. So you want to flirt, build sexual tension, tease her first. And if she's receptive to that, then continue. Go on to flirting. But make sure you're flirting right. Go on Patreon, watch the video on flirting, watch the video on teasing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, TV. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah. Next question.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Was good.
Bro, I got a question for you. So basically, it's a situation with a girl that I'm sort of seeing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn down your volume. I hear my echo crazy.
Give me a sec. All right,
I
better
don't know
now?
what it is.
All right. So the situation is that I'll give this girl easily a 9 out of 10. And obviously she's got a lot of lads probably hitting her up. So I went on a date with her about, I'd say 5-6 months ago, and then I went on a second date. I slept with her on the second date, and then went out the third time. And then on the third date, she said something weird to me that I didn't really know how to react. So she goes that I don't invite anyone out for dates. It's like people have to invite me. My own friends don't invite me. So because I'm thinking like at this point, I expect her to like sort of invite me somewhere. And then when I heard that, I got a bit taken back by it. So I pulled back after that. Pulled back for about like 2 months, didn't talk to her.
2 months, dude?
No. I think, wait. So what happened was that there's more to it. No. After that third day, I went back to her house. I didn't sleep with her that time. She told me she's on a period. I didn't sleep with her that time. And then she said, we got to ride the scooters. There's scooters everywhere. I'm like, yeah, we can ride Thursday. I said, sweet. She didn't message me Thursday, yeah? So I didn't message her either.
Okay.
She didn't hit me up. I didn't hit her up. I got a bit of pride like that. I don't know what. Anyway, so I didn't message her. We didn't hit each other up. She never hit me back. I waited like a month. I was doing my own thing. I had a different rotation as well. I wanted this girl in my rotation, but because she was, I wanted her on my own terms. So I'm like, I'll just wait. Anyway, she hit me up saying, long time no see. We should hang out. And then I was going overseas to Dubai. So I'm like, I'm leaving soon. She's like, let's hang out before you leave. Anyway, went for shisha. And then she was saying like, oh, I don't know why I stopped seeing you. You're such a good vibe, this and that. We were just trying to have a good day. And then after that, like the date finished, she told me to drop her to a friend's house. So I dropped her to the friend's house. I know the friend as well. And then the other girl, and then she goes to me, we'll go for a walk before you leave. I had about 3 days left. Didn't message me safe trip. And then now I just got back and we got a dinner booked. So we booked this on the day. She was like, we've actually never been dinner. I'm like, yeah, you can book something. And then she said, okay, when do you get back? She booked a dinner for this, I think it's Thursday, Friday, something like that. And then she's like, so now I'm waiting. She can either hit me up about the dinner, but like if she doesn't, I got this thing where I can't message her. Do you get me? And the other thing is, like, for me, I think the main issue is that it's not, I think the sleeping part's not hard, but once I sleep with them, I don't know how to make them see me as like like boyfriend material. I don't know how to sell them that dream. I struggle with that. So I'll get in their pants, but I can't take anything. Like I can't cuff them.
Well, that's a lot. It's a lot to take in. First things first.
Sorry,
Because
lads.
it's so good. It's so good. I got you. I gotta say this just because you're Muslim and you know Yom Qiyamah. I don't want to be taken into account.
Yeah,
Stop having
I get
stop
you.
having sex before marriage. I just gotta throw that out there. Nobody worry about
Yeah,
that. I
bet.
cover my own ass. You know, you get it. But no. First of all, I get it. So basically, what you're saying, your problem is that you can get girls and you can sleep with them, but you have a hard time keeping them into a rotation.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Okay, well, one, stop ignoring them for fucking 2 months. Let's start there, right? Let's start there because that is extreme. Now, when you pull back, right, there's different phases, and I'm gonna talk about this in a course. I'm not gonna go over everything, but I'll tell you this because this stuff is on Patreon, but you'd have to find it. When you pull back on a girl, you don't necessarily have to go 2 months. Now, yes, you have pride, and yes, she did hit you back up, but in all that time and you didn't hit her up, you have to build the attachment. And one of the biggest mistakes guys make is you guys don't build the attachment, and that's what you're failing to do. You have to build the attachment first. So yes, you have to put in a little bit of work. Yes, you have to text her, and it's okay to put in some of the work at first. But when you go hot and cold, so you're so hot and then you're talking to her, you guys have good rapport, and it's okay. Text her first sometimes, and sometimes let her text you first, and she will. But when you go cold, then it is okay. Why? Because the hot and cold is gonna fucking throw her off. She was like, oh my God, this guy is so everything. Like we're doing this, we're doing that. And then he's just like out of nowhere, he just stopped talking to me, right? And she's gonna be wondering why. But one of the biggest things that you're missing, you have to build the attachment. Now, there was a study done in the Journal of Psychology, and they said that the study was to see how fast the two genders fell in love. Now, on average, it took a man a few days to a few weeks to fall in love, and it took women at least 2 months, sometimes a little longer.
Yeah.
So, in that time of falling in love, it's going to take some time to build that attachment. Now, if you had sex with this girl on a second date, and imagine if you continued, instead of ignoring her for fucking 2 months, continued to make love to her, continue to have sex, whatever you want to call it. Imagine how that sexual connection would have been built, especially you having rapport with her, talking to her. The attachment would have been built. But what you have to learn is you have to learn to build the attachment effectively. And that's something that you're not doing. After 2 months of talking and being consistent with this person, the attachment will be built. And then you can pull back, because when you pull back after the attachment is built, then you're staying on the front of her mind. And then so much anxiety, she's going to convince herself that she's in love with you because she can't stop thinking about you. And because you were so consistent, now you pull it away. She's like, holy shit, like I can't stop thinking, what is wrong with him? Where's he at? Like what? Where's Amir at? Like, oh my God, like what the fuck, you know? But that's your problem. You have to learn to build the attachment, and it's okay to have your pride, but your pride is hurting you because you're not moving, you're not being intelligent. When you get into relationship, the lines get a little blurry, right? There's no absolute thing like, oh, if she doesn't talk to me, fuck her, I'm not never talking to her. No, that's not smart, right? Like some guys be like, well, if she doesn't text me back, I'm never going to talk to her. Or if she texts me back 8 hours later, I'm going to text her back 8 hours later. The problem with that is you don't get to have any back and forth conversation. There's no consistent back and forth banter. There's no back and forth conversation. So the problem with texting girls back hours later when you're trying to match her energy, and it's okay to match her energy sometimes, but you deprive yourself of actually building anything versus in a conversation. So you're too extreme, and you need to learn a balance. And that's not necessarily something that I have on Patreon, but that's something most guys would get coaching for. But
I've gone through your Patreon, like I watch it like religiously. Thing is, like with me, the 2 months is not even intentional for me. It's like something because I've got a rotation already. I want this girl to come in the rotation. But one more detail I'll tell you: she got off work one day early because I tell her we're gonna go to a food festival, and I couldn't go to the food festival, so I bailed on her. And once I bailed on her, she tried to punish me by. So I think she replied one day late, saying it's all good if you can't make it. And then we planned to go the next Wednesday, and she bailed on me as well. I remember, I think it was that bail from her that I got that I should have pulled back. I'm like, okay, fuck this then. But I think, I think I need to just see him a bit more consistently. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you need more consistency in general. But even if that were the case, let's see if she pulled back and she was trying to do the same thing you did to her, right?
Yeah.
But even if you just bailed, you should at least talk to her and be like, hey, something came up and I really can't do it. Now, that's okay, because you don't want to just do it like in a dickhead kind of way, right? Because that's not smooth. You want to be smooth about it.
I did it in a dickhead way. Yeah.
Exactly. You want to be smooth about it. You got see, this is the difference between some of these red pill coaches and some of these other. They're not going to teach you game. This is game. This is having game. You want to be smooth about it. You want to be like, hey, what's going on, babe? How's your day going? Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. So I got a little good news and a little bad news. What do you want first? You want your veggies or your dessert first? Dessert? Okay, cool. Just to let you know, you're fucking hot as hell. Now, this is a little validation, but it's okay because you're about to hit her with some negativity. You're looking hot as hell. Or I was thinking about, or you don't even have to say that. You're like, I was thinking about you today, and I definitely can't wait to see you next, right? But then you hit her with, well, the bad news is I have something coming up, and it's really important, and I'm not going to be able to make it next Tuesday. But can we reschedule, because I do want to see you? Can we reschedule for another day? And I want you to know it's not intentional. Like, I'm genuinely busy, right? Now, if you come to her in that way, that's like, oh man, I get it. That's so understandable. Yeah, like, what other day are you free? And then now you're being smooth and you're smoothing a situation over, right? But if you just like, oh, I'm just not gonna respond, and like, come on, those situations you're bringing on yourself. That's like, you got to be smooth with shit.
Okay, I don't want to take too much time, but okay, I've got dinner with her on Friday this week now that I'm back from overseas. So can I hit her up saying, oh, my calendar tells me we've got dinner, but be a bit smooth, and then go dinner, and then from there, because she still got that traction, because she still obviously wants to go out. So do you reckon I can still play my cards right and then cuff her now?
Are you trying to cuff her?
No, not cuff her, but like keep her at least regular, because she just sees me as a fuckboy. I know that 100%. Because she said it to my mate's girlfriend as well, that, oh, like, I don't really see him as something serious, because he looks like he's just playing around.
Well,
you get me?
Well, that's gonna take time. If like I said, you need to listen to me what I'm saying. The first thing I told you was you need to build an attachment. Once you build the attachment, then you can go from there. But you're not in a position to cuff her. Even if you want to make her part of your rotation and you keep her permanently, if you're playing for keeps, that's not how you do it. You have to show her a little consistency. Not saying you have to text her all day, every day, but just, a little more than what you've been doing. And try to use some phone game. Go talk to her on the phone and be like, hey, what's up? How's you doing? Just talk to her, get to know her a little better, and show her a side of, oh, maybe this guy is getting to know me. Maybe I was wrong about him. Whoa, he's calling me. I'm surprised, because she's already intrigued that you are the way you are. You ghosted her for 2 months and then she's still hitting you back. So there's something there. So you can't be too extreme and start talking to her every day, because she'll probably get turned off, because that's two extremes. You can't go from two extremes like that. So, just give her a little more attention than what you were already doing, and then you gradually build, and then you can maybe pull back a little bit. Obviously, don't reward any bad behavior given to you, but obviously have some discretion and balance, and then definitely you can probably get that girl into your rotation. But you just got to play your cards right.
Yeah, you're right. But I appreciate that, man. You're a sicko. Thanks, bro.
No problem. Yeah, guys, you can't be too extreme. You have to like, and I get it. Like, a lot of times guys have this, and it's more of a red pill thing, right? And it's okay sometimes, because in some situations it does work, especially if you have status. But when you're just like a regular Joe Schmo, you got to be a little more smooth with things. You got to be a little more slick. But sometimes you guys can actually just be genuinely busy and just, you don't have to explain yourself all the time, but, make it seem reasonable, but, try to be a little more smooth sometime. But 2 months is crazy. Um, that's wild. Guys, try not to ghost girls for 2 months. That's a long time, especially the way girls move nowadays. It doesn't sound like he's in America, but you ghost a girl for 2 months, she'll have two boyfriends. She might be married. she might be
English,
married.
bro. English.
She might be married in America. So
That's facts.
you gotta be careful with that, especially if you want to, cuff this girl or even put her into a rotation. You gotta you gotta you gotta uh you gotta do a little better than that. All right. If anybody else has questions, shoot them. Let's see what we got. And guys on TikTok, if you want, um ask questions, put them in the question box. I'll answer one. We have, what's some advice on to pull older women? Just have a level of maturity. I have a really good video on Patreon on gaming older women. Most older women, to think that you have to have money is not necessarily the case. And I don't want to give you too much for free, but you just need a level of maturity. You just need a level of maturity. Obviously, older women who want younger men expect some excitement. That's the whole reason why they're talking to them in the first place. But um, there needs to be some type of balance. You can't be acting like a fucking 12-year-old, or a typical 18 or 19-year-old. But older woman is a relative statement, because I've had guys who asked me that before, and they're like 20 years old, asking, how do I game a girl that's 25? There's not that much of a difference. I mean, a 20-year-old might be a tad bit more immature than a 25-year-old, and she might not have as much experience, but that's not that much of a gap, and it shouldn't be too hard.
Got another question, KB.
Shoot.
So this other girl I'm talking to, she she wanted something serious as well, but I got in another relationship with this other girl, and we recently broke up. And I told her about it. I shouldn't have been honest. She's like, so why did you stop talking to me? I told her, oh, I got a girlfriend, and she didn't take well. We stopped talking for like 2 months. Then she came back into my life, and she's always like, let's hang out, and she kind of just never pulls through. Like, she flakes. And I feel like she's using that, as the other guy said, like trying to get revenge, or like make me like get on my. I feel like she's trying to get me on my knees and like beg for her, but I'm not trying to do all that. But yeah, every time I tell her, hey, let's hang out, she always like flakes, and then she ends up going out with to the club or some shit, or to the bar. I feel like she's playing games.
Oh yeah, you think? She's hurt. She's hurt. She's definitely hurt, and she's definitely trying to like get you back somehow. But yeah, I mean, what you did to her was a little cold blooded, just a little bit. You just cut the bitch off. What happened? I got a girlfriend. And that's telling her, yeah, like you wasn't it, and I just went and wiped this other girl. But like I said, guys, you got to be smooth. Like if you're gonna cut a girl off, find an excuse, right? Find an excuse as to why things didn't work out. So when you try to rekindle things, it makes it look like, oh, we just fell out, and then I started dating someone else. Try to be a little smooth. Now, as far as getting her back, anything is possible, right? I would need to know more in the situation, but it sounds like, yeah, she's out for blood, and she's just trying to play you at any course. But one, don't let her know she's affecting you. That's one. Two, just be clearly unbothered. Now, if you want to keep dealing with it, you might have to go. You might go through more of that game playing bullshit. But yeah, I don't know. I would just need more in the situation, but you stop asking her to hang out. That's for starters, and just give her a regular conversation. And obviously, if you know the problem, you have to address it somehow. Somehow bring up a conversation where you got to be maybe something like, you want to know why things didn't work out between me and you, and ask her that question and don't respond for like a day or two. That's really going to get her, because obviously we know that's what hurt her. And then give her a valid reason as to why it didn't. And um and then, maybe it'll bring her some understanding, and then you butter her up a bit, and then try to be a little consistent. Don't ask her to hang out for a while, and then maybe she'll come around. I used to do shit like that all the time, but it's a level of creativity that not everybody has. I'm fucking slick.
Yeah, because she's definitely interested, man. She texts me all the time, and like sometimes I don't reply back, and like she double texts me, so I can tell she's definitely interested. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I did hurt her though. She was pretty hurt when I told her that shit.
Well, there you have it. You gotta, and also, you're leaving her on red, you're leaving her on seen or whatever, to leave it undelivered. Well, you got your reasons,
Thanks, Kimmy.
No problem. All right, guys. Everybody on Zoom, you got 10 minutes. So you got 10 minutes to ask your questions. The timer has started counting down.
I got a question.
Shoot, man.
Well, I work at the club with this bottle girl, right? And I thought she was feeling me, so I got her snap. I asked her to get some food, and she was like, nah. So I thought it was over. So I was just cooling it at the next shift. And then I noticed that she was trying to like give me more attention than usual. Like she's like looking at my necklace, trying to touch me up, saying like, "Oh, I like your necklace and shit." And then she asked me to go to another club with her and her friend. But I want to know if she's just looking for attention or if she's just trying to push it forward.
Is she hot?
She's kind of cute, you know what I'm saying? She's kind of small, but she's kind of cute. But she's trying to boost up her ego because you know how bottle girls be.
Yeah, especially that's what I know. That's why I asked, because living in New York, I dated a few bottle girls and I can't keep up with them, because I promise you, these girls, I've never dated girls who had so many rappers in their DMs, especially in New York, the ones with the big fake butts, and they bad. And I feel like they mostly be like Puerto Ricans or Dominicans.
Yeah,
but look,
Portuguese.
Yeah, something like that, right? And it doesn't even matter the race; they just all be like too much, and a lot of them be having a lot of rappers in the DMs, and they get more validation than anything in the world. So with a girl like that, you have to you got to be a little difficult with her. So the next time she comes up touching you, like you got to be like, "Whoa, hey, hands off the merchandise," but saying in a joking manner, right? No validation, and you just got to game her well, because it seems like she's looking for validation.
That's what I'm saying. So should I go? Should I go out with her and her friend?
Her and her friends?
No, it was just me. She wanted to go, me, her, and this other girl that we know from work at some Latin club.
If she really wanted just you, she would go out with just you.
She was asked, right?
Yeah. So it's okay. Maybe you could cancel on her and be like, yeah, I can't make it. Something came up. You know what I'm saying? She won't be expecting that. But and then you can be like, well, if I don't want to say invite her out a bit, because I was gonna say then like, oh well, if you want to come, I'll be like next Wednesday or the next day, I'll be here, so you can come if you want, but I'm not gonna be able to make it tomorrow, right? But don't validate her. Do you ever validate her when you're at work?
Nah, we usually just teasing her, but I realized like before I talked to her a lot, and then after when she said nah, she didn't want to go out with me, I just completely ignored her like the next shift, and then that's when she was trying to like talk to me some more. Like she'd be looking at me, she tried to ask me if I'm okay. Yeah, I'm fine, but talking to her friends instead of talking to her.
Yeah, start doing that more. Start talking to other girls. Talk to other girls, and sometimes talk to her, but keep it to a minimal. Keep it small.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to play the game a bit.
right, send me. All right,
And never be direct. Remember, you're at work. Watch the video on Patreon, gaming coworkers. You always want to be indirect, but with her, you got to play a little of the tough game, and try to throw some negs in there too.
All right.
All right, guys. We got 6 minutes left on Zoom, and then I'll answer some questions on TikTok. Guys, put your questions in the question box if you want questions.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
What the deal?
Good. So 4 days ago, I had an argument with my missus, and been getting the silent treatment ever since.
Wait, who'd you have an argument with?
With my girl.
Okay.
4 days in, silent treatment, no contact. Haven't spoken to her, nothing. And I think the reason why she gives me the silent treatment to begin with is because she can't communicate. She's got no communication skills. She tends to close out when she's angry. She can't express emotion, and it's just like emotionally immature, if you know what I mean. So my question is, if say we do get to talking again eventually, obviously I'll tell her off for the silent treatment, and I just want to know, how do I get her to communicate with me? Is it a lack of trust? Is it? I'm not sure what it is. That's the thing.
Well, first off, you sound like Thor. That's what you sound like. Where are you from? Australia?
Australia.
You ever recognize that? Why does Thor have a fucking Australian accent?
I'm pretty sure he's Australian, is he not?
Is he? I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's an American actor. He's not an American actor?
No, he's Australian.
Really? That's funny. That's funny. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that.
The more you know.
All right, now back to your issue here. We got 4 minutes. Okay, so whenever she does this, how does it end? Do you eventually hit her up? Do you talk to her?
So the first time she gave me the silent treatment was genuinely my fault. I said something to her, gave it 2 days, and I just came, apologized, and then she was fine with it because I was genuinely at fault. This is the second time it's happened. I've been talking to her for probably 6 months.
Okay, look, silent treatment is a form of manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
You're being manipulated. First things first, she needs to communicate like an adult. And the next time she does it, have you spoken to her yet since she's done it this time?
No.
Don't. You don't. I don't give a fuck how long it takes. You don't. I'm so serious because it is a form of manipulation, and what she's doing is a power play, and she's keeping the power in the relationship because what she's saying to you is, if you do something that I don't like, whether you're right or wrong, I'm not going to talk to you, and I'm going to punish you, and you're going to give in, and you're going to give me my way, and you're going to know that I run this relationship, and I'm going to have my way, and if you don't give me my way, I'm going to talk to you. It's a game of chicken. It's a game of chicken. By the way, guys, this is going to be on a course. I go into depth about this, talking about all forms of manipulation. So much so I had to take that shit off the podcast because it's too much sauce. But yeah, it's a form of manipulation. And what you need to do is not give in. Now, if it goes longer than 2 weeks and she hits you back, you tell her we're broken up, because anybody who go 2 weeks without talking to you, one, doesn't love you, doesn't really care about you, and doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. I doubt it'll go that long though. But what she's doing is a form of manipulation, and it's a power play. She's trying to let you know who runs shit. And whenever she does this, you don't give in. And then when she does hit you back, you don't hit her back for at least a day, at least 24 hours, because that goes to show, not only am I not going to cater to your bullshit and pander to you, I don't care what it is. Even if you did something wrong, you don't ignore me. You're an adult. You're a grown-ass adult. I'm assuming you guys are adult, and you can communicate like a mature adult. Mature adults don't go and be silent and try to punish you by being silent. That's a form of manipulation, and you don't give into that shit. So when she does that again, you let her ass do that. You let her ass stay quiet as long as she wants. I don't care how long it takes. And then when she does, and then from that point in time, she does text you, you text her a day later.
Yeah.
And let her know that we're not catering to that no more. And then when she asks, oh, how come you didn't text me? Well, it doesn't matter what the reason was. You tell her that we are mature adults and you can communicate like a mature adult. You don't behave like a child. You're not a child, so you can speak and use your words. And if you can't speak and use your words, then I don't know what to tell you. but I'm not going to keep running after you like a child every time you get upset at something. And it's plain and simple. There's no other answer or question for that. That's simply how that goes.
Yeah. And so, like you said, if it takes more than 2 weeks, that's it. Like,
yeah,
call it off, reach out and call it off.
Well, after 2 weeks, you don't reach out. You let her reach out to you. But when she does reach out, you tell, oh, well, hey, single person, we're single now, because that's ridiculous. And you need to think about it. I doubt she's going to take that long. But if she can ignore you for 2 weeks, that's not somebody you should be in a relationship with. That's not love. But you don't be scared. Don't be panicked. And don't have a scarcity mindset. It's a big game of chicken. And it's all about who's going to move out the way of the car first. Don't be first.
So I'll leave her on my socials.
Don't view her stories. Don't like her pictures. Don't text her. Silent.
Remove
and you
her
wait.
After 2 weeks?
No, I didn't say remove her. I just said don't look at her stories. Don't remove her. Leave her don't block her. Don't do any of that stuff. Just no talking. No looking at her stories. Nothing. It might be hard for you, but that all depends on your mindset. If you have a scarcity,
stories already muted.
Exactly. Simple solution.
So easy. Thanks, man.
No problem. All right, guys. I'll try to be back tomorrow on here. If you didn't get to get your anyway, that's done on that's done on whatchamacallit on the Zoom call. But what I'll do is I'll answer some questions on TikTok. So if you guys put your questions in the question box, I'll start answering those now. Oh man, we got a lot. Main girl mad because I was flirting with her friend. And she's mad and trying to make me jealous. Don't show jealousy. Simple. You should never show jealousy. How do I get girls? I'm 15. Start talking to them. You gotta learn some game. Subscribe to the podcast. The podcast is free. And if you can get on Patreon, get on Patreon. It's only $16 a month for the main tier. You'll learn a lot of stuff in there. But if you can't afford that, the podcast is free. In a 10-month relationship, how do I gain respect? Ooh, if you ain't gain respect now, it might be hard. You may need a reset. Respect is something that you establish at the beginning of a relationship. If you're not listening to the podcast, I advise you listen to the podcast because you're going to learn all those things. The only problem with trying to establish relationship 10 months later is you've been in a habit of being disrespected and you've been in a habit of doing certain things for so long that when you try to establish respect after 10 months, you're going to run into some problems. Why? Because it's such a habit and that's basically not who you are. You need to let this become who you are. Now, when you're trying to establish respect so late, you got to go to a little more extremes. But I would say subscribe to Patreon. I do have the relationship course coming. And when it does come, I will cover all of this stuff. Respect, everything you need to know. This is why everybody needs to join this fucking course. This course is going to be gold. I'm literally making sure I cover everything. So make sure you guys go do that. But yeah, you got some issues. Subscribe to the podcast or subscribe to Patreon if you can. The podcast is free, but you're a little late to be trying to do all that. How do I stand out from her options? Ignore her. Don't kiss her ass. Polarize your relationships. How do you feel about blocking, ghosting? I don't usually block unless the girl violated OD or unless I just don't ever want to see her or deal with her again. Then cool, but I try not to block. Would you ever consider sparring one of your followers? Oh yeah, absolutely. Just come down to the gym. Money on the line, sparring follower. Yeah, like I said, just come down. It's sparring. Sparring isn't a boxing match. You know, as long as you're not like fucking 300 pounds and 6'8", sure. She's been my girlfriend for 10 months and won't respect me. All right, I think that's the same guy. How to win big game of chicken situation. You just don't give in first. Do you know what chicken is? If you know what chicken is, you know that you just simply don't. Like when there's a car coming, there's two cars coming, right? And the game of chicken is who's going to move first, whoever has the most fear, right? And a fundamental thing about relationships, whoever cares the least usually has the most power, are perceived to care the least. So you can care just as much, but maybe you're faking the funk, maybe you're pretending. So when you're playing chicken, it's basically the same thing. Just don't move first. How to keep multiple women in a rotation with our relations. Join Patreon. Everything you need to know about that is on Patreon. Maybe one day I'll make a course about it. Right now, we'll focus on a relationship course. Dating versus cold approach. Well, dating knowledge and cold approach knowledge, there are some similarities, but they're almost two different things. Your mindset and your approach for cold approach is, is confidence, knowing what to say. You have to learn how to gauge that person, knowing how to escalate things properly. Everything is a little subtle escalation. It's like talking, feeling, touching, flirting, teasing. And if she's receptive to everything, then you continue to escalate even more. But the approach game is, more PUA stuff. I wouldn't consider myself a PUA coach. I've taken coaching from PUA guys. I'm pretty good at it. I'm not 100% the best, but when it comes to this relationship shit, I'm a master. My girl gets upset and trips about everything. Stop entertaining it. You ever seen like a child who falls, and the child falls, and the child like starts to, and you like the parent looks at the child like, oh my God, are you okay? And the child starts to cry, right? But then a child that falls and you just look at him and say, you're okay, get up. And then the child gets up. Well, it's the same thing with women, right? If she complains and does this about everything, if you continue to entertain it and add fuel to the fire, she's going to continue to complain. Now, if you do the opposite, you might have some different results. How do I get to stop bringing up? Leave her. I'm serious about that too. I'm not saying you can't get back with her, but leave her. And just tell me like I had enough. Either you're gonna forgive me or you're not. Is it a good idea to be nonchalant with a girl? Yeah, depending on the situation, it's never really bad. There's a time and place for everything, though. How to tell if she likes you? Go on YouTube, bro. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm not answering that question. How to get out of the talking stage? Escalate. Make things man to woman. Build some sexual tension. Flirt. Tease. Touch her booty. Be careful with that, though. I don't want to sound like Trump out here. How much for a 30-minute call? I think it's either $45 or $50. The prices went up. Text my assistant. It's 516-500-7906. Text her and set an appointment. What does it mean when a girl says, you too nice? Oh my God, that's the worst. She said you too nice. That means you don't polarize your relationship. She don't see you as boyfriend material. Next time you see her, tell her breath stink. I'm so serious. As obnoxious as that sounds, it'll definitely work. Just be like, hey, I'm just being honest. It smells really bad. I offer her some gum. How to mess with two girls at the same time properly. Join Patreon. That's called having a rotation, buddy. And 2 is easy. It only gets difficult when you start talking about 7 and 8, 9 and 10. Oh my God, she has a headache thinking about it. No luck on Tinder, Hinge. Is cold approach the way? Well, cold approach is definitely better. You have to know how to cold approach. Now, I do have a series of videos, the approach series on Patreon. I think after I make the relationship course, I will make an cold approach course. Um, why the relationship is coming first, because I feel like I'm more of a relationship expert. I feel like I've mastered so many things when it comes to being in a relationship, and I've helped so many guys turn their situation, even married people, turn their situations around. But the key to Tinder, you have to have a more appealing um, profile. The more appealing your profile is, the more matches you will get. Now on Tinder, and with Tinder, there's also an algorithm. I'm not sure if the same thing is with Hinge. I know the more you swipe right, the guys who just swipe right on everything, um, unless you're getting an equal amount of swipes back, that's going to put you low on their algorithm, because what it's saying is when you swipe right on everything super fast, what that's saying into Tinder is that this person doesn't probably have standards. This person is probably not attractive because they're not swiping left on anything. So they'll probably accept everything. So Tinder is basically saying because you swipe right on everything, you're probably ugly, right? And also another thing that take into account is how many people swipe right on you versus how many people swipe left. So they kind of put you into like this ranking. Um, Now, as far as your profile goes, I have rich clients, and because and there's a correlation with Tinder versus with real life. One, Tinder is majority men. I think it's like 70-30, right? It's a 70-30 split with men being the majority. And the guys, my richer clients have so much success on Tinder. Um, it's ridiculous. And I feel like most of the women they have one of my guys has like fucking like have 5,000 likes, but he also has a very appealing page. He has a Lamborghini Hurricane. He has a Rolls Royce. He has pictures of him on private jets. He has pictures of him in other countries. He wears a lot of his Tinder profile basically almost looks like um the Tinder swindler, but that's his actual life. He's not swindling people. He really got it, right? So these are things. Now, the guys who also do well are guys who travel a lot, who have good quality photos, guys who um, look like they travel a lot, or they put their location on photos and they just do fun things. Um, those are also appealing too. So you don't necessarily have to be rich, but have a appealing profile. Have clear, good photos, maybe photos that are in portrait mode, maybe professionally taken photos of people taking pictures of you doing activities, um, because your life looks appealing and it looks fun, and you look like a fun person. So that's appealing to women. And the last component is a great bio. A great bio will get you far too. So those are some of the things as to why some guys aren't having success with Tinder and Hinge. And cold approach is something totally different, because most guys don't approach. Most guys are scared to approach, especially nowadays. It's almost dead. And when they do approach, they accept anything and they don't have any real game. A girl says, "Oh, I have a boyfriend," they'll just walk away instead of saying, "Oh, how long have you had that problem for?" Right? So cold approach is definitely the wave. It's definitely a lot better, especially with some persistence and some training, right? And even if you do just approach women on a regular, even if it's a numbers game, some girl will be more interested, some won't. The more you approach, the more your confidence builds. But approach is definitely better. But most guys don't do that because you guys are pussies. How do I get back to her love bombing and thirsting? I don't know. I would need more details on your situation. It's very vague. Should I stay unavailable as a man in a relationship? At times, you don't want to be too extreme, but you want to put a scarcity on your attention. What does cold approach mean? Approaching girls in the street. That's what it means. Approaching strangers. How do you deal with a girl that has a lot of pride? You break it. You break it. But there's techniques. Join Patreon or wait for the relationship course. I know it's a rotation, but my two girls are friends. Okay. Don't they always all start out as friends? it sounds like you need to get out of the friend zone first. Once you get out of the friend zone, then it won't be too hard. How do I get what? How to get them wanting to sleep with me badly? You got to game them. Build sexual tension. Flirt. Learn to put some value on your attention. How would pull a girl if I'm not her type? You have to game her. You have to have a good game. If you're not physically her appealing type, you got to start talking to her. And the guys who do that all the time, yo, it's so crazy. Like, especially when I took coaching from one of these PUA guys, this guy would talk to girls and they would tell them you're not my type. And next thing you know, like next day, he's like, she's in his bed. She was crazy. How would you advise me to start texting a girl? I don't know. Just don't say, hey, what's up? How to break her ego. She hesitates saying, I love you. Stop saying I love you back. Stop saying it for a while. Don't say it first. What's a good bio? I'm not telling you that. Come on. Join Patreon. I have it on there. I think it's be asking for everything. Does game confidence come with experience? Absolutely. Game is a matter of learning, but confidence you can gain in increments. Not necessarily experience, but I guess you can say experience. A multitude of success, right? You want to gradually continue to build. So yeah, I would say so. It does come with experience. Experience is the mother of learning. All right, I'm done with question, guys. By the way, one more thing before everyone goes. I'm going to put up a poll for a flash course on either getting out of the friend zone. What else? How to get your ex back. I'm gonna maybe put 3, and whichever ones get the most votes, that is what the flash course will be. Now the flash course is going to be super cheap. It's going to be like $30 to $50, super cheap. More, it's money you spend in a week. That's nothing unless you're like 5 years old, right? Unless you're like 10 years old. It's going to be really cheap, and I'm going to make a flash course for you guys before I put out the big relationship course out for your relationship. But yeah, guys, so make sure you add me on Instagram and go look out for that so you can vote on it. I'm going to post it as soon as I get off this live. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I want to get out of here. I still got to shower. Still got to pray. I'm out of here, guys. Deuces. Make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe to page.